Music is a language of the world. It connects people from all walks of life, from all ethnicities, from all gender and generations. It brings them together. It's very communal. It's very communal, and it promotes well-being. It promotes well-being, and that's why I'm a firm believer of that. I saw that very early on. As a child, I grew up in a musical family. My father was a professional musician, and he would practice at home. He had a trio, and they would practice and they would work on these songs. And then whenever I could go to events that he was performing at, whether it be family or parties or quinceañeras or any of these events, and he would perform, I would see it firsthand how the power, the magic, the beauty of music, how it would transform people. And so that's why I say music is a language of the world. Why did I start creating musical events? It happened by chance. It happened by chance. I had an event, I was using a book called Voices of Latin Rock in one of my classes. And I had the author, Jim McCarthy, who is a English-born Irishman, wrote the book. And it was incredible because he was in town promoting the book, and I wanted to bring him on and introduce him to my classes, but I didn't have a place. And somebody said, "How about the theater?" And I thought, "What do you mean the theater?" And I was told that because I was faculty, that I could use the theater for free. Now you don't tell that to a musician, because it's all, you know, it's like, it's game on. And so from there, so I got a bunch of friends together, and we put it all together, and I promoted it really quick. And the theater is a 400-seat theater. It's a beautiful theater. And I was able to get, you know, a good portion, maybe 200, 250 people. And then I brought in the author of the book and everything. But we played music, and I thought, I could do this. I know that I can do this. And so every semester, I would do something different. What's that saying? Jack of all trades, master of none? Well, that's me. I can play a little bit of everything, but I'm not specialized in anything. So one semester I could do the Latin music experience, or another semester I decided to do the blues. Another semester I did R&B review, and tonight we're doing the soul music experience. And like I said, jack of all trades, master of none. And so that's how I began to do this. And every semester I keep tweaking it, and it gets better and better and better in terms of organizing it, because it's not easy. Not easy at all. In fact, the first time I did it, I just thought, it's too much work. And then I thought, well, you know, if you start to delegate and you start to, you know, get other people on board and to help promote and publicize, and it worked wonders. It worked wonders. And the best feeling I had was one night I did a tribute to Santana. It was called Sounds from the Streets. And I had a packed house and then some. Like I said, the theater seats 400 people, but I had over 525. The people were sitting on the aisles. And be careful for what you wish for, because you know, sometimes you get more than you bargain for. I've had a number of influences. Of course, my father. He is a wonderful musician, and there was always music in the family and at home, whether he was playing or whether he would play LPs or whatever. So I was exposed to different types of music, classical music, you know, typical Latin music from different parts of Latin America, you know. And then and he would teach me these songs. And so he was my first influence, because that's how I started to learn how to play. And then as I got older, by the time I was 12, 13, 14, I started to expand and reach out, and people like Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, and Santana, and then along the way, you know, Wes Montgomery. These are, you know, iconic figures that helped me innovate and create my sound, the sound that I have. So sometimes, if you were to listen to me, you can hear a little bit of Clapton, and sometimes you can hear a little bit of Hendrix, and sometimes you can hear a little bit of Santana. And you know, I'm cool. This is the inspiration that I get, and it's from them. And every now and then I'll listen to their sound and to their little riffs and stuff like that, and I pick up on that, and I'm thinking, okay, this is I want to try something like this, you know, and it's just, I just added. It's like being a carpenter, you know. You have all these tools on your belt, and so the same thing as a guitar player. I have all these little tools, you know, there's these little influences that I could throw a little bit of Wes Montgomery in there, a little bit of Santana, a little bit of, you know, the hard rock and stuff, you know. It's all good, it's all good. How many guitars do I have? The traditional answer to that is not enough. Not enough, which is not true. You know, some people can go on with in their lives playing only one guitar and they're happy with it, but most of us guitar players, we like to have a nice variety, and I am no different. I have at least 13, last count, I have 13 guitars. There's a couple that are in retirement. Every now and then I'll pull them out, maybe depends on the gig, but they are all my mistresses. I call them, I have names for them. This one, for example, is one of my favorites. This is Rosita. I call her Rosita, and this is one of my favorites. I tend to use her a lot in some of my gigs, but then, you know, when the mood strikes me and I get a gig that, you know, I start looking around, I go, who could I use for tonight, you know, and then I'll find somebody else. But yeah, she's very special. I've had her modified a little bit. I did all the modifications myself. I changed the pickups, and so I could have a different sound that I generally like. But you know, never enough. And of course, in life, you know, caca pasa, shit happens.